poker traveler, traveling round. Call me the poker gypsy now.
Hello, my name is Matthew Marvin, aka the Poker Gypsy. Today I will be reviewing two hands that I played at a 2-5 cash game live stream event in Jacksonville, Florida at Best Bet. Alright guys, the hand I'm going to discuss with you now is a pot I get bluffed out of. We're going to start at 14 minutes. Now, if you don't know, I usually like to buy in for the minimum and run it up to ungodly numbers. That's the goal. I have bought in for $300 at a 2-5 game. We're 8-handed. I'm on the button with Ace-Jack offsuit. Seat 2 is the first one in the pot, and he raises it to $20, which is pretty standard for a 2-5 game. The player between us folds. I call. Small blind calls. Big blind folds. The flop comes Queen 9-5. Small blind bets $60 into a $65 pot. Seat 2 and I both fold. When a player bets here, it's normally a bluff. Sometimes players will make this bet with an overpair to trap. The only real way to figure out where you're at in the hand is to re-raise here. I folded here for a few reasons. Second hand of the session. I'm still learning my opponents. Earlier I stated that most of the time when a player bets here, it's a bluff. And it is a bluff. It's a good one. It's got Ace-7 suited. But sometimes, especially with the older players, some players would bet here just because that's how they play. That's their style. A lot of older players bet it when they have it and don't want to see any more cards. It's basically them getting in when they have the best hand, or when they feel they have the best hand. There are 2 cards to a straight with the Queen and the 9. You have to learn your opponents and make mental notes on the way they play before you start re-raising them. Plus, at first glance, you would never think this guy would be as aggressive as he was that whole entire session. He definitely threw me for a loop that night. I just tagged him as a tight player on a heater. The next hand I'm going to discuss starts at 1 hour, 5 minutes, 45 seconds. The hand relates to opponent reading. Seat 1 and Seat 2 both fold. The player before me limps. I look down at pocket kings. I raise it to 3 times the big blind. Button calls, and so does the 9 seat. Of course, the 3 seat calls. It's only 10 more bucks. Flop comes 10 Jack Queen. Everybody checks to the button, who decides to make a position bet of $60 into a $62 pot. 9 seat and 3 seat fold. I shove for $101 total. There's a few reasons I shove here. First is obvious, because I'm short stacked and I'm not just going to call and play with 40 bucks. It's not like I'm going to bluff anyone out of the pot. You're not bluffing a $200 pot with $40. Second, to me, at this point, it's an obvious bluff. He's on the button, and he's a good aggressive player. And it's very rare that someone who has a straight bets here. There's no 2 cards to a flush draw out there yet. Even if he did have a straight, it would have most likely been the bottom half. I've got 2 blockers and a shot at the top end of the straight. Why not? My opponent calls $41 more and turns over Queen 8 suited. The runout is a Jack and a 10. I win. Great hand against a great opponent.
My YouTube channel, The Poker Boy, you should know me by now. Brad Owen, Andrew Neiman, you gon' see me, I'm found. Drawing dead vlog, look like my body. adapted to poker. I'm talking poker lyrics. I'm buying in, hoping to cash out. Y'all got to hear me. Cash me out, cash app, home games. Poker boy, I'm headed to the poker game. My mind adapted to poker. I'm talking poker lyrics. I'm buying in, hoping to cash out. Y'all got to hear me.